Hello, I'm Martina and I'm here with Christina,
Hello, everyone.
and we are your podcast host for Everyday Ordinary, Extraordinary Men. So here's the context. Most humans have a lot of preconceived notions and stereotypes about gender. For example, men are tough and silent and forceful, and women are chatty, manipulative, and emotional. And in doing that, we put people in a box and often forget to see beyond those labels. And if someone is not fitting the mold, we might call them a tomboy or a sissy. And those and similar labels often cause a lot of discord. So here's our question. What would the world look like where we go beyond our preconceived notions and understand that we are much more than our gender? That we humans are strong and soft and gentle and deep and powerful and tough and fierce and open. And that qualities are not specific to a gender. That we all have all qualities available to express. What would the world look like where we all are free to be who we choose to be and express all of our emotions? When we allow ourselves to express the so-called masculine and feminine qualities within ourselves, we set ourselves free. When we allow others to do the same, when we accept them, when we accept all of them, not just parts of them, we create synergy, peace, and harmony. And so today we're here with Leroy. Leroy, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey, my name's Leroy Midgley. I grew up on the Sunshine Coast. I'm working as a carpenter and I also do body work. So I would say in the body work or remedial massage I'm a facilitator of transformation. See, what I do is I meet you where you're at and I basically transform what's going on internally, energetically in your body so that you can have huge shifts in your life. What inspires me regarding my work is my own personal healing journey I went on at the age of 18, and it showed me the healing power of the human body.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for being here and thank you for being willing to participate with us and share a little bit about yourself. So if we really knew you, what would we know about you?
I suppose where I get my joy or what I love to do is spending time in nature. So whether that's going for a bushwalk or going and meditating in the bush or the mountains on the Sunshine Coast, or it's surfing. I have an infinity love for surfing. It just like lights me up. Um, just that connection to the ocean, the Pachamama, and just like it's a meditation within itself. So it just allows you to, doesn't matter what's going on in your life, you can be having the shittest day, but you hop into that ocean and you paddle out behind the waves and you're in a whole different world, a whole different state of being. And it's just like a complete refresh of who you are and what's going on, a different perspective on life.
Yeah.
It almost forces you to be in the present moment, right? Like you can't
Yeah.
really think about anything else when you're surfing. It's like me and the wave, right? Like,
Yeah, or you can get hurt and stuff like that. So it's like you're 100% present with what's going on. As well as it's almost like a cleanse as well, right? The salt water and stuff like that, just washing your body, allowing you to just be 100% in your center. And just it's almost like it's like taking a deep breath in and just being like, just like letting that all go.
Yeah.
so good.
And the waves are actually they give you a reset every time, right? It's the rhythm of the earth, it's the heartbeat of the earth in a way, which is really beautiful. But let me just quickly tell our listeners that you are like half a day ahead of us. So you're in Australia.
Yeah, yeah.
In case people are trying to figure out where that is that you're going surfing in Australia. So yeah.
Yeah. It's super special. I mean, I haven't traveled too much of the world, but I mean, Australia is just, it feels like it's a home, right? Like the Sunshine Coast is such a stunning spot. People often say to me, like, you don't need to travel the world because you live in like paradise.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, and we all want to travel, well, not we all want to travel the world, but many of us want to travel the world, right? And it's, yeah, I mean, Australia is so big. I remember when we went to Australia, we were there for a month, and there's so, like, the variety is so incredible, right? It's like each part of it is, and we only, you know, we went from Sydney to Melbourne, and then we went up to Brisbane to the Whitsundays, and then that was that. Oh, we went to the Red Center. We went to the Red Center. So that's about what we did, right, in that 1 month, and it's just so big that there's so much more to see and to visit. So beautiful.
Yeah, it's huge.
Mm.
And it's interesting as well the way Australia's like laid out. It's very coastal towns and stuff, and then you got like maybe a few towns like more inland, and then not much in the middle, like with the deserts and stuff like that as well.
So, Leroy, I'm going to give you the icebreaker question. Tell us a funny, silly, or embarrassing story about yourself.
So I suppose there's a festival we have every year, which is like the Woodford Folk Festival, which is usually often it starts Boxing Day and it goes to New Year's Eve. And it was just like the festival's been growing great. It's just been dry weather, but it's just been hot. And I've just finished my last shift because I was doing just volunteering there, and I was on parking, and obviously so it's quite hot. And so then the one thing I've done is I've gone back to my campsite and I've just had a Corona beer and then gone into town. And then because I haven't drunk much water that day, there's a food junction called Spaghetti Junction. So I've gone there to get dinner. And then I've started eating my dinner. And next minute, it's just all come back up because I've been dehydrated. So here I am. It's like New Year's Eve, about to go celebrate and have an amazing night. And then it's just like the body's just been like, no, no, you need rest and recovery. So that was like, you know, it wasn't the best thing, but obviously the body knew what it wanted, right? So it just said, yeah. And I was super grateful because actually one of my family friends ran that. So she gave me some homeopathics and stuff. And then one of my friends basically walked me back to my tent, and I just slept New Year's Eve.
I love this story though, because ultimately, you have to just trust your intuition of your body, right? And be like, oh, okay, what I need
Yeah.
right now is rest, right? And some homeopathics, and I need to take care of myself right now. I think
Yeah.
of us just want to push through, and then we just make ourselves sicker in the end.
Oh, 100%. And I feel like that's what, well, I'm aware I can do that a lot as well. I'll push through, or it's like I know what I'm capable of, right? And it's like you keep pushing until either you either listen to your body, or life or the universe, I believe, humbles us and says, hold on a minute, you're neglecting your body. Let's take a moment, rest and recover.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, right? Because it's like, you know what you're capable of, but that changes from moment to moment, right? Miguel Ruiz in For a Green says, always do your best, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but your best might be different right now than it was half an hour ago, that it will be tomorrow. But if you only look for what I'm capable of, inspiration, my best right now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. I think
Yeah.
this is, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, your best is always changing, right? And we're always improving. Like life is always just giving us, well, I believe life is always giving us feedback or lessons to learn from, and we either integrate from them or learn from them, allow us to go to higher levels, or improve our skills or our service we provide. So then it's like I feel it's like part of the gift the universe gives us, so that we can give more of who we are to the world.
Absolutely. You know, I'm a massage therapist, Leroy, you're a massage therapist, and you know, it's so nice to have a huge bag of tricks that when you have a client come in and you're feeling not 100%, you can be like, oh, maybe they need more energy work today. Maybe they need more myofascial release today. Like, um, and trust that they're on my table today when I'm depleted. So they're going to need the best that I have to give today. Right. Like and just trust, right. That if they're on my table today, the best that I have today is what they need.
I feel like, speaking on that, trust is like the biggest thing life teaches us. It's to trust in the bigger picture, or trust that no matter what's going on in our life, that this piece is just going to be like, if we're willing to trust, it's going to shape us into who we're meant to be this lifetime.
Yeah.
So, Leroy, what makes you laugh?
Well, it could be a funny situations, or it could be things not going right that in a way we could get upset or angry about, or we could just laugh with it and allow it to be part of the experience, right? Life isn't perfect, and it's like these laughable moments that can make an adventure or something unique, right? I've literally just come back from New Zealand, and I was there for 2 weeks, and I should be feeling great, but it's a holiday, but I'm also there visiting family and stuff, and I'm there doing so much that I come back probably more tired than when I left, just because of everything I did. And I was involved, and I feel like it almost feels like it's like life gives us all these opportunities. So then it's like, well, we either take these opportunities, or then it's almost like it's a day wasted. And it's the gift of life that just keeps on creating more for us.
Absolutely. All right. So I'm going to give you the multi-part question. You can answer one piece of it, you can answer all pieces of it, or it might be one answer for all of it. So what was your biggest lesson that you've learned? For example, what was your biggest challenge? What took the most courage? When did you take a stand for something that mattered? What made you who you are today?
So I have touched on it a little bit earlier, but when I was 18, I was in a serious motor vehicle accident. I was in a coma for a week. I had a brain injury. I remember obviously going through this whole process. And then as I was coming to the end of leaving hospital, where I was getting like rehabilitation from a brain injury rehabilitation unit, I remember the specialist saying, oh, to do nothing with my life. I also got told I'd never be able to surf again. And see, I remember this moment so significantly because surfing was my life, especially as a young 18-year-old man. So my initial reaction, even though I didn't speak it, was, why did you keep me alive? Because surfing was my life. And then, so what shifted for me regarding this was I got told everything I couldn't do, and then I started to be able to do what I could do. So relearning to walk and talk again, um, basically hitting ground zero at the age of 18. So like having no skills whatsoever and having to relearn everything again. Like, it showed me the healing power of the human body, which is what I love to bring into what I do now with bodywork. Because it showed me anything is possible, and it shows you how powerful our mind is as well. And that, I suppose for me, one of my highest values would be health. And so this allows me to, one, do what I do and love what I do with bodywork, but also willing to take care of my health so that when I'm out and about, people see me and I have that ripple effect. And so it's like, how can I make the biggest impact on this planet while I'm here?
That is so,
Absolutely. Yeah.
incredibly powerful. That's so incredibly powerful. And the choice, right? The choice you made in that moment, right? You could have given in, well, they told me, so I'm, that's the truth, or no, that's not an acceptable answer, right? And it feels like you were like, no, this is not how my life is going to go. I get to create. I get to say, I have a say in the matter, which is one of the most powerful things we get to do, right? So beautiful. So tell us about the time you took a chance for love. And it's not necessarily romantic. It can be romantic. It's not necessarily romantic love.
Probably what I do for work. So it's like I have a unique gift. Like it's probably why I still do construction work as well, because I'm really good at it. And I just get so much joy from what I do. Like it's like a skill set, but it's also like it's almost like channeled presence in what I do. So it's like there's just pure presence, whether it's someone on the massage table or I'm there helping at the moment we're building schools in Caloundra on the Sunshine Coast. So it's just like it's like a love for life. This is the biggest like lesson I'll probably learn is like our love for life, and it's like the power of our perspective or our choice on what we actually do, and it I believe it for me it nurtures me, and it's like, well, there's pain here, but then there's also love. And so there's like growth here, and it's just like honoring who I am as a man and allowing me to be who I meant to be on this planet. Like I can't put it in other words. Just like it's like the love to challenge myself to continually grow and be who I'm meant to be.
Yeah. So like so holding that space for yourself of stepping into like the highest version of yourself, but also not judging where you're at and just having that peace to just be with yourself wherever you're at in the moment. And that's really kind of cool because I think most of us are comparing ourselves to where our friends are and our family and where's everybody else on that checklist of life. And when you could really be at peace with I'm doing things that bring me joy and that's really all that matters. That's pretty brilliant.
And being clear that life is a gift. That's one of the things that I hear in what you're saying. It's like it's a gift. Like my purpose is to enjoy and do things I love, right? Rather than, do things I don't like that much. And sometimes we have to do the things we don't like that much. But what I mean is it's more like dedicate your time to the things you love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I suppose it's like having a life mission or a life purpose. It's like it's not all a smooth sail, right? It's a bumpy road as well. And it's like it's in these challenges that we find our strength or our growth or our lessons that we need to learn or integrate into our body to have the impact we need on the planet.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you
And
still
go ahead.
you still choose to follow that path, right? Like
Yeah.
you know it, but you still it's your choice to say, and I'm going that way, right? Which is very powerful. Sorry, Christina, I interrupted you.
No, that's fine. I was just gonna I don't even know if I'm gonna remember what I was gonna say. That's fine. We should just move on. All right, next question. Leroy, what's your superpower? And you could choose more than one.
I feel like it would be presence, but it's also like an openness to all of life.
Mm,
And it's just having that, well, it'd be like having that open heart, and it's like understanding that there's we have our moments, but it's like just which would then come into trusting in the bigger picture. Like like as a man, I went through a bit of a dark spot at the age of 18 after my accident and stuff, and what I was told I could and couldn't do. But then it was like through trusting and just, I suppose, taking it day by day, I was able to prove what the doctor said was wrong. And then it gave me my power back. It gave me my strength, and just, it basically flipped what he said, and it allowed me to be in a state of love and gratitude because I was still alive. And I visited people after my accident dad did it to show me the how lucky I was, because there was people who were in a much worse position than I was. And so I had full use of my limbs, my brain, everything was, I had to retrain myself, but I was still a human being. They originally, while I was in hospital, they were speaking about putting a tracker in my neck. And so mum and dad thankfully said no to that. But it's like, you couldn't really tell after my injury that I have a brain injury. It's like an invisible injury. People don't really get it. And it's like, well, you can retrain your body, like lifting weights and stuff like that. So we can heal our brain and our mind. And it's all about putting our time and our effort in. And the world just, in a way, rewards us for what we go through.
Yeah. So unstoppable. I would say you're unstoppable.
Yeah. Um,
Were your how were your parents during the situation? Like, were they part of your strength? Like when you were given this diagnosis, or was that from you, or?
I feel like that was from me, but obviously that was a massive shock to my parents. Them receiving that phone call, I think around 10:30 that day, but then not really. My dad was working in Milani, so my mum couldn't really get a hold of him till like the afternoon. So then it was, I also have two younger brothers as well, so they're both at school. So then they waited till they came home, and then it was like, okay, we'll get my two younger brothers good, because I wasn't going anywhere, and then they drove down that night to come visit me and stuff, and obviously taking the whole situation. But it's, I suppose, a value of family is, we're how strong we are as a unit, right? So then it's just like a big part of it was just me being told what was possible, and then in a way becoming limitless to what anyone else thought of me, and taking my steps forward and just valuing the feedback I got, because it was my feedback and no one else could do what I'm here to do. Everyone can have an opinion on my life, but no one can live my life. So it was like a blessing, as hard as that was for my mom and my dad and my two younger brothers. It was an event that happened and we moved through it. It was hard, but it was beautiful.
Yeah. Well, the question comes more from, like, did you have role models in the defying what you're being told, or was that just from you? That actually was my question. Sorry, it wasn't clear when I made it.
So like, I didn't necessarily have role models. Obviously, I also went through a process of having post-traumatic amnesia as well. So for about 2 months, no short-term memory. So it was more about just taking it day by day. And I suppose it just showed, like, obviously my dad spent a lot of time with me, just helping me because my mobility wasn't great. But it was just like these pieces around, it was literally day by day, just getting up, doing what I needed to do to go through it, because it was rehabilitation for about 4 months out of hospital, to then be rehabilitation at home before I went back to my carpentry apprenticeship.
Definitely unstoppable. You got that, Christina. So, if you had a magic wand and you could give people any quality, what would it be and why?
It would be like humbleness. So being humble within ourselves so that we don't necessarily see what life is giving us as good or bad, but it's just like allowing ourselves to feel ourselves or our gifts and not get egotistic or to operate from the mind. I'd say I'd rather people were operating from their bodies, like in their presence in this moment, because I feel like life is so short that it goes, it almost goes like a glimpse, like we don't fully appreciate what's actually happening for us. I feel like,
Absolutely.
yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like we can get too stuck here in the mind, and it's like, oh, when I have this, I'll be happy. When I have this job or this life or this car, I'll be happy. But what about being happy now?
Yeah. Yeah. We're so attached to that end result that we miss what's going on the journey to get there.
Well, and then there's the other part of our definition of success that is so skewed, right? Because success is tied to status, to what we own or what we have, and not like success could be smiling or making that step, or but it's like in our worldview, it's a little twisted, I think.
Or narrow. Maybe it's very limited the way most of us look at what is success, right?
Success could just be the fact that you woke up this morning,
Right.
got
And that
out of
you're,
bed.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that
Hmm.
you took a shower, that you got dressed.
Yeah. Hmm. Leroy, what are you most grateful for?
It would be life and the people I have in my life. Like, I feel like they keep me humble, but they also are able to hold that space for me as well as that friendship. And it's just like, just, just like without life, we're dead, right? So then, if we're everywhere we're not grateful for or present with it, it will, it'll go by like in a flash. It'll just be gone. So it's like, if we're not living, we're dying. So then it's like, how can we live life to the fullest?
Amen. Yeah. Hmm.
So how do you recharge your batteries? You told us about surfing, you told us about being out in nature. Is there anything else that you do to recharge your batteries?
Yeah, I'd say I really enjoy doing breath work. And even though it takes a little while to get used to, it'd be ice bathing or there's a place on the Sunshine Coast called TLC that has two plunge pools. One's about between 12 and 15 degrees Celsius. And the other one's about 38 degrees Celsius. So you do 4-minute rounds between each one. But what I love about ice baths or cold water is you can't be anywhere else but that moment. So you can't escape it. You can't be in your mind. All you can do is be fully present with what's going on in your life. And being a man and doing hard work or my work, carpentry and stuff like that, I find it just a beautiful piece that complements what I do.
I've never done the ice ones, but I like the salt, the deprivation. It's just it challenges me because I don't like confined spaces. I'm not a huge fan of being in the water either. But but yeah, it's me and my brain, like, hey, here we go. And then I chant, and then I'm spinning myself around in circles, and then I'm like, oh my, what are you doing? And then I'm chanting, and then I'm thinking about dinner, and then I'm chanting, and then but yeah, um, I love, I don't know, that just choosing to surrender to that, to my brain for a certain amount of time, right? Like once you're in the pod, there's nothing else you can do but just enjoy it. And yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. So Leroy, what's the legacy you want to leave? What do you want people to remember about you?
Um, to live an inspired life, to not let anyone else set your limits, you're in control of your life, no matter how great it is or how bad it is. It's your perspective or your choices you've made, and you're in control of that. So you either can change your choices and change where your life trajectory, or you don't, or you get help. And it's also, as men, being humble enough to ask for help, right? We often bottle our stuff up, or we don't express it. And it's like, well, nothing's going to change unless we change. So it's take responsibility for your decisions and be willing to allow something else to come through, which life might humble you because you've got this fantasy that you're living by, and it's like, that's not true. You need to come back to who you are and your truth and allow this to come through. And your fantasy might not be realistic. So then it's like the universe is helping you become the best version of who you are here to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes it's even better than what we could possibly dream once we get out of the way, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So last question. What are you most proud of? Like, what do you consider your biggest accomplishment?
It's probably everything I've done with my life so far. And that the fact that me learning the responsibilities of who I am and my choices, but also coming on the other side of what life gave me, because I realized that a lot of people might not have made it through what I've made it through. And so this is what inspires me. It inspires me, how can I make the biggest impact on the planet? And so what I've been looking at is like getting into like public speaking and sharing my story with the world and how I can leave the biggest ripple effect. Because, you know, I can keep working and doing carpentry and one-on-one body work, but it's like, how do I reach the most people and share my story so that they can be like, they can take a breath and look at their life and be like, oh, maybe this isn't where I want to be or where I want to go, but this is where I am now. And that they can go, okay, well, I can change this. And it might just be micro steps, but it's like over the time of a year, that could be a huge shift in their life, allowing them to be, I mean, that is the biggest thing, is probably love and gratitude, being grateful for who we are and loving ourselves and allowing us to have the biggest impact on the planet. And it's also giving ourselves permission to be here and shine and be who we are here to be.
Well, I'm excited to hear more about you in public speaking in the future. Yeah, for sure. So you have a massage business. Do you want to brag about it and tell people in Australia how they could get in touch with you if they're interested?
Yeah, sure. So my business is called Earth Healing Touch. Through touch, we create flow. Through connection, we create change. What I do is it would be tendon mobilization techniques mixed with remedial massage techniques and craniosacral to all bring it all back into integration. Um, and so what I'd often offer is you come like maybe quite regular to start with, because it's all about shifting your nervous system and allowing your nervous system to change and for you to create new patterns in your body. And then we go from there. And then it's more about you honoring you and knowing when you actually need to come back as well. It's not about me selling you, but it's about me creating the space so that you can change. Because I believe I'm here to hold the space and facilitate the techniques through what I know. But the biggest piece is you taking responsibility for what's going on in your life.
Yeah. Yeah, and teaching them how to listen to their body, right? Because we're so taught to tune it all out that we have to retrain people how to listen to their body again. Yeah, it's part of what I love about being a therapist too. Yeah, awesome. Leroy, thank you so much for being here with us today. Thank you for bringing your vulnerability, and your passion to the conversation today. Thank you everyone for listening. If you loved what you heard today, please leave us a review, please share with your friends, and please remember you are extraordinary and you rock. Have a wonderful day.
Bye for now. Leroy, you want to say bye?
You guys, thank you for being here.